days, the plants appear and flower in a great celebration of life, as if the earth has been patiently waiting. Like magic, the event is short-lived and the exquisite show only lasts 4 to 7 days. This year, the magnificence of the sandhalf lilies blesses us on Valentine's Day, when our hearts are open to appreciate both natural beauty and love.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening, I'm Maggie Forciero. In the news tonight, fish rod accused released on bail. We want to represent ourselves in the genocide negotiations, says OTA. Unions dismayed over Namib wage negotiations. Vultures, the invisible heroes to farmers. And Roundup Business on One, comments, corners, sports and the weather. The bail hearing of fish rod accused Ricardo Gustavo continued in the Windhoek High Court this morning, where Judge Herman Oosthuizen ruled that Gustavo be released on bail of 800,000 Namibia dollars, subject to the following conditions.
In the event of being unable to raise the whole amount, the accused shall pay 300,000 Namibian dollars with the registrar or the head of the correctional facility, and the balance shall be furnished by way of an acceptable guarantee with acceptable sureties. The accused shall report twice daily at the Kaps Farm police station and sign an attendance register before leaving the police station. The accused shall report every Monday, Wednesday and Friday with one of the investigating officers at the head office of the Anti-Corruption Commission. The accused applicant shall be restricted to remain within the boundaries of Erf 229 Wildeby Street, Finkenstein Estate, between 1800 hours and 600 hours the next morning. The accused applicants shall not be allowed to visit any of the residences or co-accused situated within Finkenstein Estate or elsewhere in the municipal area of the city of Windhoek. The accused applicant is not allowed possession, control and access to any travel documentation of Namibia, Angola, South Africa, Botswana or any foreign state. The state shall be allowed to, at its own cost, to fix a personal GPS device to the wrist or ankle of the accused in order to acquire the ability to monitor the movements of the accused at all hours. Alternatively, the state shall be allowed to fix an advanced GPS device to the vehicles which the accused will use while on bail, and the accused is obliged to identify such vehicles. Fixing of the GPS device shall not suspend the accused being released on bail, but serves as an incentive to acquire easy monitoring capability as soon as possible in the interest of the proper administration of justice. The state is permitted to lawfully monitor and police aforementioned conditions of bail. The complete judgment will be handed out on the 21st of December 2021 at 1500 hours.
Enjoy these fantastic mid-month savings only at Clicks until the 16th of December. Buy Clicks 2-ply toilet paper 18 rolls, $89.99 per pack. Buy Huggies Gold Disposable Nappies Jumbo Pack, now $230.99 per pack. Buy Nivea Shower Gel 2 for $80. And buy Axe deodorant body spray 2 for $57. Clicks, feel good, pay less.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia sounds with the Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
The Ovaherero Traditional Authority leadership has emphasized that they would like to represent themselves in the Namibia-Germany genocide reparation negotiations and that they have submitted their own petition to the United Nations General Assembly to intervene in the case.
Mitiri Munjua, the patron of the Ovaherero Traditional Authority, said during a press conference held at the Commando Hall in Windhoek that the organization will not participate in the failed genocide negotiations between the Namibian and German governments, and that their position remains that they want to represent themselves if they are given the platform in the new genocide negotiations. The remarks come after President Hage Geingob was recently urged by McHenry Vanani, the leader of the official opposition party, to designate a new special envoy to lead the genocide negotiations between Germany and Namibia.
The themes of Honorable Vanani, we cannot also respond to his theme, and we do not want to take a hitchhike in his theme. Our position has been, is, shall remain that we would like to represent ourselves if we were given the platform to be part of a new negotiations. We are not going to deal with a failed negotiation outcome, the so-called declaration that was signed by two gentlemen. Now, to have to deal with a failed, a dented vehicle, so to speak, is to penal beat. We don't want to penal beat a failed declaration. We want to start from scratch with a clean slate, where we would have to spell out some of the things that must be part of the new negotiation, including the diasporas.
The late Kadenambo, together with a number of Ovaherero and Nama tribes, recently petitioned the United Nations to intervene in the Namibian and German government's genocide deal. Munjua also stated that they are not a signatory to the late Kadenambo's petition and that they have filed their own petition with the United Nations General Assembly to seek legal redress for the genocide perpetrated by the German Empire against the Ovaherero and Nama communities between 1904 and 1907.
We are not part of Kadenambo's petition. That is his own thing. We have submitted our own petition to the United Nations General Assembly, to all the members of the United Nations, including Namibia and Germany being members. They have a copy of our petition, which culminated in a document that was presented by the Secretary General of the United Nations to the General Assembly of the United Nations. Now, our petition, in fact, our petition is there, but the main thing is the General Assembly document which was presented, which included. Actually, the basis of that document was our petition, not the one of Kadenambo.
Munjua also addressed Vanani's statement in which he requested President Hage Geingob to appoint a new special envoy to lead the German and Namibian genocide negotiations. Munjua stated that their organization does not have the authority to appoint special envoys because this is a function reserved for the head of state, but that if the platform for renegotiations is established, the Ovaherero Traditional Authority will speak for themselves.
The Trade Union Congress of Namibia expressed dismay against Namib Mills management as they say the company has turned a blind eye on their employees as they fight for bonuses and increments for the workers. This comes after employees petitioned the company, which according to the union has failed to come to the negotiating table for an amicable solution.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Mahongora Kavihuha, Tukna Secretary General at a press conference, said that Namib Mills is playing hide and seek by deliberately ignoring the union's efforts to resolve the matter.
It is with a serious grief and concern that after the parties have signed the recognition agreement, the employer has and continue to disregard the provisions of the agreement. Parties started negotiating, but the employer unceremonially left the negotiation tables and the employee were left unattended to. The employer engaged the group of workers with no mandate of respecting others and imposed a 4% salary increment without following the required procedures both in the Labour Act and the spirit of the recognition agreement. We find that salary increment on the workforce irregular and without proper legitimacy to enforce. Because if things are not done in terms of the legal instrument, it becomes difficult to enforce it. You could even pick it up from other industries like fishing, like a security where there is a minimum wage and others. The management has developed I don't care attitude when it comes to the employees' conditions of employment. The company has furthermore opted to disregard the legal instrument in place, such as the recognition agreement, the Labour Act, and the common human relation engagement strategies.
Kavihuha further said Namib Mills management is continuing to disregard a collective agreement and the deteriorations of industrial peace and negotiations.
We're not going to face this common enemy which we call COVID-19 when the employers are continuing disregarding and disrespecting the workers. By virtue of disregarding and disrespecting the trade union that you have a recognition agreement with, it means that you don't care about your workers, you don't care about the situations that you are facing in a country of COVID-19, you care less about nothing except your profit and exploitations of the workforce of Namibia. So we don't see a reason why the Ministry of Labour is taking so long to intervene in this matter. Even the union have already engaged with it.
Under paragraph 2 of this document of the 7th, it's clear that even if they do not receive, they still know. In fact, SG here said they know very well what they are doing. What we want to emphasize is when the issues of ShopRite started in this country, it was the same law firm that was spearheading and defending all this nonsense. It's again the same law firm that is representing these people. KB. We do not know whether they are only thinking of making profits and not thinking of the people who are potentially their clients in one way or the other next time. So all that we are saying is this company is saying they don't have money to increase the workers, but they have thousands of money to spend in lawyers. It's very strange. Very, very strange.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Christmas, shop at the furniture store that promises you the lowest prices and lowest installments every day. Guarantees you free delivery if you find a lower price on any item and brings you amazing deals like this Restonic 152 centimeter Earth Zone base set, only 4,999, save 3,000, and this 4-piece Trojan Lounge Suite, just 13,999, save 5,000, only at OK Furniture.
We know it's been a hard year, so we have worked to bring you the Christmas you deserve with the savings you need. Like all gold tomato sauce for only $25.99 and Koo baked beans and tomato sauce for just $11.49. Merry Christmas from all of us at Spar.
An article titled Vultures, Farmers' Best Friend, authored by freelance journalist and photographer Dirk Heinrich, states that there are still some farmers who kill vultures as they presume that these critically endangered birds kill their livestock, but no concrete evidence has yet been presented to prove that.
Birds are the most unique living species, but they are not as crucial to the ecosystem as vultures, says freelance journalist and photographer Dirk Heinrich.
The farmers must realize, and a lot of them do realize, that the vulture is their best friend. Because first of all, we all should know that the vulture is the health police in our environment. I mean, they clean up carcasses. If an animal has died, they are the first ones there. To scavenge on the carcass and clean up before any diseases can spread. Plus these vultures are the ones who indicate that there's something dead, which is also a good thing for the farmer. He doesn't have to search his whole farm to find out if something has died on his farm or even has been poached and killed on his farm. And the same thing with nature conservation. I mean, a lot of animals are found because the vultures are up in the air and start moving down at a certain place, and then everybody can go and have a look. The farmer to see if his cattle or something has died or if his game has died, and probably find out why the animal has died. As I mentioned, I mean, it could have been a poaching case, and in this way he detects it. And this is actually the problem for the vultures again, because some of the poachers have started, especially when they kill an elephant, as happened in the north, they actually poison the carcass so that the vultures don't show anybody that there's a dead elephant.
Heinrich started ringing vultures on farms in September 2003, together with former nature conservation official Peter Bridgeford, a move that sparked interest in more farmers.
Sometimes they move away. As I mentioned in the article, I started with Peter Bridgeford, who was a former nature conservation official, who was very interested in vultures, and he started ringing vultures in the Namet Naukloof Park. And we then started moving onto farms and ringing vultures there, especially the white-backed vultures. And there were quite a lot of vultures in the Hochfeld, Steinhausen, Seeeis area. And suddenly, hardly a vulture bred in that area, and we don't know why. And when they started the vulture restaurant, they told the farmers in the area, Otjiwarongo area, don't put out poison. I thought in this way they can save the vultures. And once we started putting tags on so that you could actually see the vulture from a distance, because the metal ring we used to put on and the colorings weren't very visible. You had to get pretty close to the vulture to see the colorings. The metal ring, the ring, and the number you can't read because it's just too small. And then we started realizing these vultures move further than where they were breeding. For example, some years ago, I ringed white-backed vultures and leopard-faced vultures on a farm about 80 kilometers east of Windhoek. And one of the leopard-faced vultures was seen a year later at Mana Pools in Zimbabwe. And another one, 1.5 years later, was seen in Umfolozi, KwaZulu-Natal. And of vultures which have been ringed, and that particular one by a farmer who actually turned into a bird ringer, He rented north of Tsumeb, and that vulture was also seen in Zimbabwe. So these birds move around. And then some vultures have been fitted with transmitters, especially the leopard-faced vultures, and with that we could see that they started moving around their nest as they got older, then started moving across the country, into Botswana, into South Africa, even into Angola. So it doesn't help if Namibia does something to protect the vultures. It must be a regional effort, since those birds move that far. And we don't know why they move that far. Is it because of food? Is it anything else? We don't know.
Vultures serve as health police by indicating the location of dead animals. As a result, vultures are legally protected species in Namibia. The legislation requires that every vulture killed by a farmer be notified within 10 days.
This Christmas, shop at the furniture store that promises you the lowest prices and lowest installments every day. Guarantees you free delivery if you find a lower price on any item, and brings you amazing deals like this Restonic 152 centimeter Earth Zone base set, only 4,999, save 3,000. And this 4-piece Trojan Lounge Suite, just 13,999, save 5,000. Only at OK Furniture.
A girlfriend. Definitely.
Whoa! Wow! Spin and win this summer. Use the MyMTC app or dial *111# and you could win a brand new Toyota Starlet, Corolla Quest or Hilux. MTC, make the connection.
In other leading stories, the Ministry of Labour, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation, in collaboration with the International Labour Organization, hosted a 2-day tripartite workshop to validate Occupational Safety and Health Legal Gap Analysis report recently. The legal gap analysis is the first phase geared towards the formulation of an OSH Act. The analysis provides information on gaps between existing national laws, national regulations, policies and programs, and the requirements of the ILO Occupational Safety and Health Convention of 1981 and its protocols of 2002, Promotional Framework for Occupational Safety and Health Convention of 2006, and Occupational Health Services Convention of 1985. During the validation, social partners and stakeholders were equipped with ILO conventions and protocols to enhance knowledge and understanding on ILO OSH standards and promote positive contribution to the gap analysis, report validation, and OSH bill development thereof. Participants made inputs on the legal gap analysis report, made proposals and recommendations to possible solutions intended to align national legislations with the ILO legal instruments. Among the gaps identified in Namibia's OSH legal framework is the absence of a primary standalone OSH legislation. Another important gap concerns the fact that Namibia has not ratified 2 labor-related ILO conventions, namely the conventions governing labor inspections and violence and harassment. The OSH Act, once promulgated, will consolidate and domesticate the provisions of the 4 ILO instruments. The OSH legislation will also be prevention-centered and provide for participation and collaborative arrangements at the workplaces and address current challenges of an ever-evolving world of work.
I'm Debula. So let's get on the road with this. Having someone who likes what you like can be great. It gives you something to chat about and share with each other, yeah? But what if you both want to be at the very top of what you're doing and your main rival is your brother? Can you imagine?
Mount Nyiragongo, located in the Democratic Republic of Congo, is one of the most active volcanoes in the world. It's found in the Virunga Mountains and located 6 miles from Goma. So what caused Mount Nyiragongo to erupt?
This is Women in African Music virtual exhibition. It was created by the British-Nigerian documentary photographer Michael Tubes.
Women in African Music exhibition is about celebrating women behind the scene and women performing on the stage.
Win free airtime with #LearnOn1. Share your comments on the lessons. SMS your feedback, name and town to 555. #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.
Joseph Shifini is standing by for this evening's edition of Business on One.
Business on One is proudly brought to you by the Government Institutions Pension Fund.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. I'm your host, Joseph Shifini. Communities living along the floodplains of the Zambezi and Chobe rivers in the Zambezi region witnessed the completion and opening of a 54-kilometer road recently. The $740 million project will not only enable locals to access services, but provide them with capacity to engage in commercial activities.
The high-quality road was constructed in District 3508 from Namalubi to Luhondono village, with 2 kilometers toward the Kalimbeza rice farm. President Akakinkob says the investment in infrastructure will improve the quality of life for the inhabitants and create employment opportunities.
For regional centers to transform into economic hubs, it is imperative that they become linked to the high-quality and accessible road system. There's a crucial activity aimed at strengthening Namibia's position as a transport and logistic hub. The construction of this road is part of government's mission to raise the living standard of the people of Namibia by enhancing their access to essential services, guaranteeing their security, and creating a platform for a dynamic economy which can generate long-term growth and job creation.
Former President Hifikepunye Pohamba was present at the event and remarked that the project was started during his presidency. He says this is part of efforts by the government to deliver on development and prosperity for those in the rural areas.
When we talk about development, development does not come to the people through helicopters. Development comes to you through road infrastructure. When I was in the office, we discussed how are we going to take development to a place called the Luhondono. Comrades say, oh, well, we can put up a road. I say, how are you going to put up a road where the place is always full of water? He said it can be done. He said it can be done. And I said to him, if you think it can be done, do the planning, so that we take road infrastructure for our people at the Luhondono.
The two presidents urged the communities along the road not to take the road for granted, but to preserve and care for it as a national treasure. Kenkop also said this is part of his administration's plan to complete ongoing bitumen road constructions in the next 3 years.
Business on One was proudly brought to you by the Government Institutions Pension Fund.
And that is all we have for you. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages for more on the business front.
Hey kids, are you in primary school and want to get extra supplementary maths, English and science lessons? Then invite Learning In with One Africa TV's #LearnOnOne every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to NMH's MyZone, these lessons are 100% Namibian. There's so much to learn with #LearnOnOne. Invite Learning In.
We know it's been a hard year, so we have worked to bring you the Christmas you deserve with the savings you need. Like Cool Peach slices or halves for only $26.99 and Brooks Oro Squash for just $29.99. Merry Christmas from all of us at Spar.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia sounds with the Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. A pastor by day and a witch doctor by night, a middle-aged Zimbabwean male national was arrested for the second time in the capital on charges of fraud and putting Namibians' health in danger by prescribing water containing unknown chemicals for them to drink and cleanse themselves. Precious notes that people are really blinded. Jason says it's an open market, adding that those foreigners came to make money. Hilma says it's a waste of money, adding that traditional healers are no more in existence. Emenchuya notes that our law is too weak, that's why people are flocking to Namibia. Golden says witch doctors are misleading the people. While Lynette wants to know why arrest him when the people choose to go to him, asking why people can't learn from the past experiences. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today on One.
Connect in style with O Smartphone, Namibia's most affordable 4G handset. Enjoy high-speed connectivity to music, videos, and social media. Experience life on the 4G fast lane when you swap your 2G or 3G SIM for a free 4G SIM. Get it all for only $4.99 Namibian dollars, and you can make the connection with MTC.
Man, you've got to be anything, he should be everything. Strength provider, the architect of every ring. Experience Danielle, see the face of God and live.
I pray to God for my enemy. Why your lady, why your baby, wanna be? Insta baby, Insta baby, Insta baby. Why you lying? Everybody shake what your mama gave ya. Everybody move what your mama gave ya. Everybody shake what your mama gave ya. Everybody move, yeah, lost, fuck.
You are now watching the V10 Countdown.
And what do you think about this one, baby?
Let me go now.
You're the best.
Can I go now?
Sweetie, you're just getting started.
1 second, babe. I'm on the phone. Yeah. What do you think about this one, babe? Babe? What were you saying?
Time short, no time for relaxing. Be the first in, last out, make it happen.
Hey guys, I'm Treza, and I would like to invite you to come chill with me on the air between 2 and 6 p.m. for some fun-filled, heartwarming conversations. On Hip Couture, it takes us into the latest fashion trends, as well as the glitz and the glamour of the industry. What the Actual Facts takes us into crazy, unusual actual facts. And not forgetting MYD Heart, where we have holistic conversations about life. Catch this and more every weekday on your inspiration station, 99 FM.
Castro Ulumbu is standing by for Sports on One.
I am your host, Castro Ulumbu, for this evening's edition of Sports on One. Following their 30th Ordinary Congress last week, the Namibia Football Association announced that they will host another Congress on the 18th of December. Today on One Sports has more on this story. The 30th Congress, which was put on hold by the Confederation of African Football and FIFA from their recent visit to the country, saw the NFA going ahead with it without the approval of CAF and FIFA. From the resolutions taken during the Congress, they dismantled the executive committee, including the president, as well as the approval of the association's financial statements.
When we got the audited financial reports, were just few days before the Congress, and the Congress felt that these financials should be taken to the Audit and Compliance Committee to look at them. Once the Audit and Compliance Committee of the NFA has approved that, then it will be taken to Congress again. So there is an extraordinary Congress that is scheduled for the 18th of December, just to ratify the financials, the budget, and the appointment of the Electoral Committee and the Elections Appeals Committee. that those things will be taken to the extraordinary Congress. So that was also one of the resolutions, that the electoral committee should be appointed and an appeal committee for the for elections should also be appointed, and those appointments will be done on the 18th. And the next bigger thing that was discussed at that Congress is the dismissal of the body, and that body is the NFA Executive Committee. So Congress deliberated on that, and the majority of the delegates voted in favor that the Executive Committee should be dismissed.
Today on One Sports, caught up with veteran sports reporter Marco Ndlovu, who weighed in on the resolutions taken at the Congress, as well as his stance on the upcoming Congress slated for this weekend.
It was clear from the time the Congress was called that the outcome would be the dissolution of the Executive Committee and the sort of firing, if you may put it that way, of the President of the Namibia Football Association by the members who actually have the power to do that, because it's been a long time coming based on the struggles or on the power struggles that have been happening this whole year. Remember the extraordinary Congress, which was stopped by CAF and FIFA. So they just took the agenda points from the extraordinary Congress and they put them onto the ordinary Congress, and they just continued with it, which I think sort of brings into question, the sincerity of the members, how sincere they are in trying to resolve this whole impasse. If you look at the voting of the NFA, it's a boys' club. If you're not within that circle, you can't vote and you can't be voted for only 22, 23 people, 24 people vote. And it tells you that it's a group of people, it's a certain group of people that can actually vote. If an election has to be held now, quite a number of them will come back from the disbanded Executive Committee. They will come back in one position or another. So their aim, their target was the president, but to get it to the president, they had to go through the executive. They couldn't only target the president alone. They had to go through the executive. So the Congress that they held, is it 2 weeks ago, has tainted this upcoming Congress. You understand? Had they not removed the executive, maybe they only discussed the financials and any other business which does not involve the case that is currently at FIFA and CAF. Then this Congress wouldn't be that much tainted, and people would be able to overlook at it and say, no, it's fine. But because the extraordinary Congress, one extraordinary Congress was stopped, and then you continue with another extraordinary Congress. So you can see already that something is not right with those two Congresses, the one that is coming up and the one that was last week. So it puts the NFA in a position where they need to keep explaining things to the general public. Why did you stop one extraordinary Congress and continue with the other one?
Despite Ranga Haikali being ousted together with the Executive Committee of the NFA at the Ordinary Congress, in a press release from the COSAFA President Philip Chiyangwa to the Secretary General at the Federation of International Football FIFA, Madam Fatma Samura, titled The Namibia Football Situation, Chiyangwa expressed disappointment towards the NFA members and executives for holding the Congress without CAF and FIFA's instructions, and has begged Ranga Haikali, as he still regards him as the association's president. And that is all we had for you tonight. Join us again tomorrow for Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Thanks a lot, Castro, for the latest in sports. Time now to take a look at the weather forecast.
A look at the weather forecast, but first an advisory from the Windhoek Met office. Cooler air is expected in the Karas region tomorrow and on Thursday. Widespread thunder showers are expected in the northeast in places as from Thursday going into the weekend. Please take the necessary precautions. The interior will be partly cloudy and warm to very hot, with a few to isolated thunder showers over the northeastern half of the interior. A fresh to strong southwesterly wind is expected in the interior. The coast will be partly cloudy and cool to warm, with a few showers in the south. and wind will be moderate to fresh southwesterly at first, becoming strong in the south later.
That is all we have for you. Do join us again tomorrow, same time. Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages for more. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team. Till next time, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future. A hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Prevention is important. Help prevent the spread of illness and keep yourself and others well. Hand washing is one of the most effective ways of preventing the spread of germs. Wash your hands regularly with soap and hot water, scrubbing your hands thoroughly for at least 20 seconds. Hand sanitizers can be used but are not recommended as a substitute for hand washing. Use sanitizers in addition to hand washing or in a situation where soap and water are not available. To avoid spreading germs, limit sharing of personal items such as utensils, cups, and dishes. Your skin acts as a barrier to germs, but your eyes, nose, and mouth are more vulnerable. Wash your hands thoroughly before touching your face, eating, or drinking. Avoid physical contact with others, including handshakes, fist bumps, high fives, hugs, and kisses. Social distancing is deliberately increasing the physical space between people to avoid spreading germs. While regulations may vary by country or area, the best guideline for social distancing is to maintain a distance of 6 feet from others. Germs can travel through the air from one person to another. If you sneeze or cough, do so into a tissue or the inside of your elbow to prevent the spread of germs. Avoid contact with ill individuals and insist they isolate themselves until they have recovered and are symptom-free. Clean and sanitize frequently touched common surfaces and high-traffic areas in your home and workplace several times a day. Share these guidelines with others and help prevent the spread of illness and maintain a healthy environment. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure.
We know the world is a crazy place right now, but don't panic. Take a breath, slow down, or better yet, stop completely. We'll still be here when everything settles down. In this time of uncertainty, look to nature. She has all the answers, you know. We're not only giving ourselves time to reset, we're giving nature time to restore, revive, restart. We're saving ourselves and we're saving the world. Stay home now so that we can welcome you to Namibia again soon. Yes, the world's a crazy place right now, but don't despair. Find the joy, cherish hope, breathe. Take a moment, take a few, and someday soon you'll once again be able to stare in wonder at this magnificent view. The world's a crazy place right now, but don't worry, we'll still be here. We'll see you again soon.
Now in its 6th year, the Syrian conflict has impacted heavily on the most vulnerable. More than 2 million children were forced to leave their homes. After 3 weeks at Idemeni, a waterlogged camp in northern Greece, Mohammed Al-Khalil and his family of 4 are desperate to relocate.
حياة صعبة هون، خيم ومطر وبرد وحمام ما في وأمراض ونحن بكل الأحوال ندور مكان يعني آمن فلقينا المنظمات هاي الأمم المتحدة حل بالنسبة لنا، لأن احنا ندور الأمان وندور مشان أطفالنا، مشان ننسى الأيام اللي مرت علينا ونتأمل إن شاء الله خير يعني.
But for single mothers like Nisreen Chico, who is stuck at the border shared by Greece and the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, the wait has led to desperation. Her husband was killed by a bomb in Aleppo 3 years ago. These days, she's consumed with protecting her 5 children.
حاسة إنه كثير صعب أنا أولادي نعيش هون. ما فيني أتحمل، ما في. يعني صار لي 10 أيام هون ولا يوم نمت برياحة. هن بيناموا أنا لا.
Nisreen is not alone. Narin worries about her 2-month-old baby, Delberin, who has contracted a lung infection. She's unsure whether he'll survive.
في معه مرض فيروس، في معه التهابات، ما بعرف حرارة، في معه سهل تراجع. خدنا على المستشفى صار 14 هون أنا. امبارح جيت على أساس ما في شيء، جيت لهون كمان نفس الشيء. أولادي كلهم هذول كلهم مرضانين.
UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, is providing shelter for the thousands of children and their families trapped here. But it's not enough.
A lot of families with young children have spent weeks, night after night, in the rain, in the cold, under the open sky. The small tents that they have had are not good. It's not proper shelter.
Keeping the children warm is a priority. The refugees burn anything in sight just to keep the cold away and avoid hypothermia. Meanwhile, back in the camp at Idemeni, Mohammed, his family and other refugees make the journey to a nearby hotel, the first stop in the relocation process. For this family, at least, the possibility of a new life is beginning. But unfortunately, for far too many others, life has become hopeless. And as long as the brutal war in Syria goes on, it's unlikely that any of these children will see their birthplace in the foreseeable future. This report was produced by Mary Ferreira for the United Nations.
If you ever plan on visiting Namibia, why not take the Spreetshoogte Pass route for its unrivaled and dramatic landscape?
Referred to as the steepest pass in Namibia, it offers astounding views and a scenic gateway to the Namib Desert. This is Spreetshoogte Pass. Situated between Nogas and Solitaire, this is only a glimpse of your Namibian holiday, allowing you to navigate through the rugged and silent mountainous route. This pass was developed as a mere dream of Nicolas Andries Reimert Spreet, who needed easier access to the mountain and a stunning view of the Namib. Nicolas was born in 1904 on the west coast South Africa. He moved up to southern Namibia to work as a foreman on a farm and eventually buying the farm Oopip at the foot of the Spreetshoogte Pass to farm goats and karakul. Living at the bottom of the mountain had its disadvantages, however, and when he needed provisions, they arrived by bus and had to be fetched at the bus stop on the mountaintop. However, without any existing roads, his team of donkeys followed zebra paths up to the top and carried Spreets supplies all the way back down to the farm, a laborious and exhausting undertaking for both man and beast. Nicholas sold the Oopip farm to the Kneips and moved with his family inland to a farm he purchased south of Okakarara. The pass was initially pieced together with quartzite rocks until it was time for a more robust paved road to provide ease to drivers making use of this route. The pass should not be navigated by vehicles with caravans, trailers or top-heavy vehicles, as it has a gradient of 1:4 and 5/1:6. Although the steeper sections have been paved, drivers are urged to reduce their speed to ensure their safety.
In a corner of southern Africa lies a vast and sparse land, where endless horizons, dramatic scenery, and untouched wilderness abound. (1,500 kilometers of harsh desert coastline, a mosaic of biodiversity, sub-Saharan savanna, acacia bushland, encased by 2 deserts. Home to wildlife and wilderness abundant, yet ever at risk. This is Namibia, home to some of the most noteworthy conservation success stories across the globe. Initiatives forged, manned, and driven by passionate individuals and groups.
People are busy there walking for more than 45 kilometers a day.
Special species and wild locations under constant threat from an increasingly destructive developing world.
One of the world's true survivors.
This is the story of the Namibian wilderness, the stories of the enigmatic wildlife and natural wonders of her realm.
They are not a threat to anyone, if you understand them.
This is the story of those determined to preserve it, and thereby themselves.
Don't think I want to tell my children one day that we had rhinos in Namibia. I want to show them live rhinos.
This is the story of the last defenders.
We have been tracking them for about 7 days, and on the 7th day, we come across the butchers, and there was a shooting. We are not armed. We having a camera and GPS. We are just hiding behind the bushes. If I don't protect this species, who's going to do that? So is that why I sacrificed my life to go on conserve the rhinos.
Armed out in the field with basically a notebook against poachers that are armed with highly dangerous weapons and more. How is this an equal fight?
I started right on the ground as a tracker, and I worked all the way up to be the CEO now, and I know how hard it is. It's commitment and dedication and the patience that you have for the animal. It's really hard. It's like you had something in your house that you are protecting for so long, and when you go away from home, somebody comes and kills you.
Beautiful souls, this is Nikita Winkler, and I am here to share easy tools for stretching that you can do just about anywhere. This is a demonstration, so what's most important is that you take the time that your body needs in each position to release its tension. Let's get started. In this session, we will be massaging the feet using a tennis ball or anything alike. You can do this sitting or standing. So first I'm going to place the ball in the center of the foot, and I'm going to press into the ball to feel the foot open up, and then I'm going to start rolling the ball vertically from the inside of the foot to the center and to the outside. And I'm giving enough pressure to feel tension release. Next, I'm going to take the ball to the front of the foot, press into it, feel the ball of the